technically we are learning to multiply and divide rational expressions. That would be the title of this lesson. That would be the legit terms. But again, we already know how to multiply and divide fractions, and we already have worked on simplifying rational expressions. So we are not learning any new skills today. Lots of examples. That pretty much, like I said, no new skills. So the lesson is just examples. So if we had a problem like this, find the product. Now, one thing that I should talk about that I know we've talked about before, but I just need to remind everybody of, is that we cannot simplify something like this. When it's addition, we cannot just cancel x's. Okay? So we need to kind of keep that in mind as we're going through not just this one. This one, it doesn't come up too much. But when it comes to all of these, the time that we can cancel things are when they're being multiplied together, right? So addition, subtraction, no cancel. Multiply, we're good. So if we look at this first one, we want to look at our cross. We want to look to cross cancel or cross simplify just like we did in the warm-up. If we look at 5 and x plus 1, is there anything there that we can simplify, factor, cancel at all? Keep shaking your head, Amari. You kind of started like this, like you're going to say no. You need to keep going. You're right. There's nothing we can cross simplify. If we look at 2x cubed and 4x cubed, what can we simplify there? Okay, what would those simplify to? Yep. Now, what about those x's? We have 3 x's over here and 3 x's down here that are being multiplied. So we are allowed to cross cancel those as well. Now, we cross canceled everything that we could. Now we will just multiply across. 5 times 2 gives us 10. And 1 times x plus 1 just gives us x plus 1. Questions on that first one? Not too bad. Now here's one that's more complex. What do we need to do before we can start to multiply, simplify, any of that stuff? What would probably be smart to do? Yeah, probably factor. We can multiply together to get positive 6, add together to get positive 5. That sounds like positive 3 and positive 2. Now let's start with the h's that are diagonal. We have an h, and then we also have an h squared. What can we do with those, Abby? We can what? Yeah, we get rid of this one. We have one h here, and then we get rid of the power here, or go from 2 h's to 1. Good. We cancel each h out. Now, this is where we're not quite as familiar, and we've done this in the last couple lessons, but we're still not too familiar with it. We have the full term, h plus 2, in the denominator here. And then we also have the full term, h plus 2, and it's being multiplied by h plus 3. So we are allowed to cancel those diagonals out, just like if they were regular numbers. Now that we've canceled out everything we can, we have 1 times h plus 3, and then just h on the bottom. Can we cancel out the h's? No, we cannot cancel out the h's, because one of them is being added to the 3. They're not all being multiplied. Questions on that one? See, no new skills, just in a different form. So there are 2 of them for you to do. Now a hint on number 2. you're thinking, wait a second, this doesn't have a fraction. How can we write that in fraction form? What? Yeah, just put it over 1. Like that. All right, go ahead. Spend a couple minutes. And then I think we just have one. Yep, then we just have one more example. You guys do a good job of doing the practice problems. My first hour thought, I don't need to do these. These aren't important. So I would not give them the worksheet until I saw all the work for every single practice problem. And believe it or not, some people didn't even get the worksheet before they left. So I don't have to worry about it with you guys. You guys do the practice problems, but I'm just ranting about first hour. We'll go like 30 more seconds. This was too quiet in here. I had to start the music early. Maya, do you miss watching videos yet?
No.
Oh.
Those weren't too bad. At first you could barely hear you.
Yeah.
Did you rewatch some of them or just realize it?
Well, Skylar said something, and that's when I called you out in the video. So I lately have been sitting up here or being very close. But yes. I should just start calling out virtual students' name. Like Tad, if you're watching, send me an email, and we'll see if we get an email from Tad. No pressure. I will look over these before, if we get to the worksheet, I will look over these. Well, I think we will get to the worksheet today. We still have lots of time. But I'll check these out before you get the worksheet. You guys good? Did you get a chance to pretty much finish them? Okay. All right, last example. Division. That's going to distract me. There we go. So what do we do when it's division and we have fractions? What is our mindset? What's frozen? Oh. What's our mindset? Yeah, keep, change, flip. Kentucky chicken fried. So we have p squared minus... Now, I'm going to rewrite this. Could it be helpful to just factor it when I'm rewriting it? If I'm going to go through all the work of writing it again anyway. Right? Shouldn't I just factor it now? I know I'm going to have to. Yes. Let's see, we need a minus 6 and we need a minus 1. So we know we need a positive and negative. That's the only way to get a negative 6, right? Multiply together to get negative 6. Oh, Maya's saying 3 and 2. We're going to have a positive 3 or a negative 3? Negative 3, yep, because we need a negative 1. So positive 2 times negative 3 gives us negative 6. Negative 3 plus positive 2 gives us negative 1. Very good. Over p plus 1. I'll just put it in parentheses because we kind of like that form a little better. Now, we're flipping, so we have a 1 here. And can we rewrite this denominator? P squared minus 4. How would we rewrite that? How would we factor that? If you guys, as a side note, if you can recognize really quickly that p squared minus 4, or like anything minus like x squared minus 16. If you can see right away that we can rewrite that using our perfect squares, then that's going to go a really long ways, especially when you get to Algebra 2. Because a lot of Algebra 2 students don't recognize that we can rewrite this quickly, like this. That connection is not made naturally. So if you guys are starting to pick up on that, like when you see something squared minus a perfect square, if you can catch that, then that's a big deal. That'll be really good. Do you know what I mean? Is that making sense with those perfect squares? Okay. Anyway, that was a tangent. So we rewrote, we kept change flipped at the same time we factored out our terms. So we did 2 steps in one there. That was pretty good. Now let's look to do a little cancel. When we look at, let's start with this 1, and we look at p plus 1. Can we do anything there? Any cancel? No. How about p minus 2, p plus 2, and then this numerator up here, p plus 2 minus 3. What can we cancel? Amari, what can we cancel? When we look at our cross, our numerator here, up here and the denominator down here, what can we cancel out? Yeah, we have a p plus 2, which with each of them. Now, nothing else we can cancel, so we have p minus 3 times 1, p plus 1 times p minus 2. Now, guess what we need to do to write this in simplest form? Anybody? What do we need to do to write this in simplest form? Specifically, the denominator. What do we need to do? It starts with an F. Well, it's in factored form right now. We need to FOIL it back out. So we have our first, first we have p minus 3 over our first times our, outsides, our insides, times our lasts. Oh, now I'm kind of working backwards. Negative 2p plus p is just minus p plus 2. So we get factoring and FOILing review. Good thing that you guys all nailed it the first time we did factoring and FOILing last trimester. Right? Something like that, yeah. We're getting better. Questions about that one? When we have division, we keep change flip, but we're using the same skills and strategies as when we are multiplying. We just have to turn some things around. Awesome. There are 2 more practice problems to do. So once you show me those 4, here's all of them in case you missed the first 2. If you can show me 1, 2, oh, this has some extra ones on it, doesn't it? You didn't have to do this one, and you don't have to do this one. So once you show me those 4, then yeah, you'll get the homework sheet.